Welcome back to the channel. So about a year ago, I made a video about my camper converted 2003 Land Rover Discovery 2, and I figured that since about a year has gone by after I made that video, I'd go through it and kind of go over everything I like and everything I don't like about what I did to my truck. So you can find that original video in the card in the upper right hand corner of this video, but without further ado, let's get into the pros, cons, and everything I like and don't like about my camper converted 03 Discovery. Alright, so one of the first things I really like about this thing is this switch right here. So I can just flip this switch and it's essentially like having the key in position 1. So I can run all sorts of accessories without having the key in my pocket. So for example, the key's right here and my sink here runs no problem, and I can go around to the back where I have my inverter, turn that on, and it runs with no issues. So I really like that. It's something I really kind of enjoy having because I don't have to worry about leaving the keys in it if I'm leaving the thing unattended and I just want to like leave my phone in it charging or like leave a cooler running or something in the back. It's great. I really like that aspect of it. So the next thing that I really like about this is the storage. So I've got all the cabinets in here as well as over here, and I can just store a huge amount of stuff in this thing. However, being that it's a Land Rover and that I need to carry a bunch of spare parts, this is full of tools and this is full of spare parts. So if I didn't have as many spare parts as I do, it would be perfect. But being that I need to carry all these parts and tools, I end up with a little bit of an issue here. And that being that I have nowhere to put all of this extra stuff. So extra fluids, extra, like I've got the flag there for when you go out to the dunes, just wipes and cords and all that kind of crap is all just kind of pushed right there, which isn't ideal, but I guess I could kind of re-optimize the storage in here. But other than that, it's been great. And I love having this access for the kitchen as well as the countertop for making food, which has really been great. I made a bacon, egg, and cheese right here a couple days ago, and it was great. Perfect place to cook. Got my stove stored away safely down here, and it's really just an amazing setup for that kind of stuff. So coming back to the side here, another thing I really like about this car is the sink here. It's super convenient having water that you can just access with the flip of a switch, and you can just immediately have water coming out of the hose right here. It folds up like that. It's really convenient for washing dishes and washing your hands after you cook something. It's really just an amazing setup, and I'm super happy with how this part of the build came out. Another thing I really like that I did that's not necessarily related to the camper conversion is this headliner. I really like how this came out. It gives a nice airy open feel, and it makes everything just feel more kind of unique and kind of different from what you see nowadays. I also matched the door cards, and I really like how that came out as well. It kind of ties everything together, and it got rid of the old worn factory ones. There's going to be a link to a video where I made those up in the right hand corner if you want to check that out. I also added this triple gauge setup so I can monitor the vitals of the vehicle, which is very useful. As anyone that knows Land Rovers know, these things have cooling issues, they have oil pressure issues, and it's great to just be able to monitor all that stuff at a glance. So that's another thing I've been using a lot and that I really enjoy. One thing that I'm not a huge fan of in relation to my build is the fact that when this is all folded out and it's in bed mode, the mattress takes up this whole space. So these cabinets and those cabinets aren't accessible with the mattress out. So you're basically just limited to the top cabinets, which is kind of a bummer if you forget about something that you put in the lower cabinets that you need to get to, either like after you've set up the mattress or when you're sleeping or something. So it's kind of just the nature of how this is set up, and I'm not sure I really could do anything about it, but it's a thing I wasn't happy with nonetheless. Another thing that I want to add to this camper, it's not really something that's an issue, but it's something that I will add in the future, is when I'm using the countertop to cook meals and stuff, using it to its fullest potential, there's not a huge amount of counter space. You really have enough room for the stove and maybe a couple of plates, but even then it's kind of tight, and you're going to need all of your food and stuff for cooking. So what I really want to do in the future is use all of this wasted space on the back door here and make a fold down table so that I can have everything laid out here as well, so that when I'm cooking up here, I have access to stuff all over the place. For now, what I've been doing is just using the extra bench space there and putting my food there, but it's not exactly ideal, and it would be really nice to have a table right here for when I'm cooking, especially if it's nice out and I want to be like outside and not in the camper where it can get kind of hot if you have everything closed up. Another thing I've noticed just over the course of using this is that throughout the seasonal changes, just as a nature of the wooden construction of this thing, the gaps between all of the doors here and how they fit together and how stiff they are is all kind of dependent on the relative humidity. So it's just kind of something you're going to have to take into consideration. Like, for example, now the panel gaps are really big, but especially over the winter, for some reason, the panel gaps get really tight and it becomes kind of difficult to open doors, especially this one right here. But right now, it's really loose. So I should have probably used a different latching mechanism for the doors, and that's something I plan on revising in the future, because during the summer when it's nice and everything is nice and contracted, it gets really rattly on bumpy roads and it's kind of annoying. So that's something that I definitely want to address in the future. So the final negative that doesn't really matter to me but might matter a lot to you depending on how many people you plan on camping with is that it is quite small in here. That's being the nature of building this on a midsize SUV. So honestly, there's really only room for 2 people max. You got 2 seats, you got enough room on this bench for 2 people, and it's kind of tight with the bed with 2 people. It's really you and a significant other is really the max that you're going to get out of this vehicle. That's just the nature of the size of it. I'm perfectly okay with that, but some people may not be, and if you're not, you might want to consider a larger SUV or even a full-size van for your camper conversion. But I've had really good luck with this one. I really enjoy using it, and I hope I get a lot more good use out of it in the year to come.